Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. A number of the readings that I have done lately have introduced or involved the concept that folks in this collective have been going through a major death and rebirth cycle lately. So I've been guided to center my next pick a card around the topic of what this rebirth is bringing you into, what this new you might look like, or what the new evolution of you might involve. So this might involve things to look forward to, it might involve guidance, it might involve some revelations, it might involve some reassurance. I'm not sure yet, we're going to find out, but we're asking about what this rebirth is bringing you into and what you need to know about that to help you with easing the rebirth and the process of this evolution and this journey, this transition. So to pull the significator cards for the piles, I've been guided to use the Naked Heart Tarot. And for pile 1, we have the Sun, the 19th Major Arcana. I almost never used this deck up until now, so it's kind of a revelation to me. Okay. And then for pile 2, we have the Page of Swords. That is just adorable. Oh my gosh. Love the geometry on these cards as well. And that did come out reversed for pile 2. And we'll see how that plays into pile 2's reading. And we have the 10 of Cups for pile 3. Is that reversed or upright, Spirit? They're telling me to put that one upright. Okay. All right, so the Sun for pile 1, the Page of Swords, the Innocence of Swords for pile 2, and the 10 of Cups for pile 3. I'm excited to see you at your reading. Hello, pile 2, and welcome to your reading. This is your reading if you chose the Page of Swords, the Innocence of Swords, as your significator card. It did come out in reverse in the pile picking, but I'm feeling called to leave it upright for kind of clarity of the visual, for now at least. And I really love that adorable panther kitten. And I'm starting our reading with shuffling the Lightseers Tarot. And today we are asking Spirit for messages about your new phase and evolution, the rebirth that you are going through or have just gone through, and what you can look forward to, any guidance, any gifts that they have for us at this juncture to help ease your transition and pave your way. And I'm starting with the same deck as I did in pile 1. We'll see if I'm called to start with the same deck in all 3 readings. There was a little message in pile 1 about innocence that caused me to say to pile 1 that it could turn out that there are messages for them in pile 2 as well. So we'll see if there's any confirmation of the reverse throughout the rest of the reading. But if you did already feel called to both, that's some confirmation for you. Let's see what we're starting with here. Oh my God, you're kidding me. So the High Priestess reversed was a core card of pile 1's reading. So to have the High Priestess upright as the first card in this reading, there's definitely a connection between the 2 piles for a lot of you. Don't force it if you don't feel called to both, or if you start to listen to one or the other and aren't feeling it, just go with the one that is actually helping you. The High Priestess's crown chakra, open crown chakra, is so in alignment with this imagery on the Page of Swords of the sword and the protection of the crown chakra on this panther. Clarity of truth, and there's something very strong from the beginning here about the innocence of clarity and the clarity of innocence, the innocence of truth and the truth of innocence. Let's see where this brings us. 9 of Swords reversed. This is actually a little bit spooky because I did shuffle this deck. Like, I interleaved the cards from pile 1 all into different spots in the deck and then shuffled it And the Nine of Swords upright was one of the cards in pile 1. So we have this reversal of the energies here. Okay, and this is new. Temperance was not in pile 1. This is such a cool message, though, because this is representing an evolution from pile 1 to a full integration of these energies, a full release of the Nine of Swords with the Nine of Swords reversed, a full alignment of the High Priestess open crown chakra. The Page of Pentacles was reversed in pile 1, and then we had the Page of Swords reversed. I really strongly feel that this reading is all about turning this Page of Swords from an upside down to an upright, you know, realigning that Page of Swords, innocence in clarity, truth, and innocence in speaking directly and bluntly and speaking your truth from your heart. And being able to speak enthusiastically like the page and convey your messages and your truth without sugarcoating, without beating around the bush, and without having to tone down your enthusiasm for other people, without having to tone down your connection to spirit for other people. And there's a purity, there's a temperance, a balance, and peace brought about by this purity and purification, and this bringing into balance the release of the negative thought spirals and anxieties of the Nine of Swords, and the full plugging into the cosmic connection of the High Priestess. Yeah, and we have the Page of Swords. Okay, we have the Nine of Swords reversed and the Page of Swords, which is all about thought and verbal energy, truth and clarity, but also swords are also mental energy, air energy, very fast moving, and the Nine of Swords is very anxious and overwhelmed. So to have the release of that anxiety and overwhelm flows very naturally into this plugging in and settling in the High Priestess, which is the realignment of the Page of Swords into its upright position, and then outflows into this temperance, this balanced ability to give and take, this balanced masculine and feminine, this having both wings of the bird available to fly. This figure has these etheric angel wings, but a solid, tangible physical form, so they're able to take angelic guidance and transmit it into the earthly world. Yeah, really strong connection with the angels in this group, actually. This group works really strongly with angels as your spirit guides, whether you know it or not. Angels are around you frequently, if not all the time, working with you, communicating with you, and communicating through you the more you are plugged in. I'm getting that fast moving energy so much in this pile. There was so much Pentacles energy in pile 1, and I just recorded pile 1. I almost never record these back to back like that, but I was really being called to today. We have Sun and Moon here on the Temperance. We have the Sun in one hand and the Moon in the other. Light and shadow, and also very much yin and yang, very much masculine and feminine. Tell me more, Spirit. Tell me more. 10 of Swords. Yep. This is the progression from pile 1 in so many ways. It doesn't have to be. This could just be where you are without you having been through some sort of pile 1 phase. But you're going from the Knight of Swords to the 10 of Swords. You're going from the depth of the dark night of the soul to the dawn. The 10 of Swords is very much that feeling after you really cry it out of being so cleansed and so brand new and so newborn, so reborn, which is the point of this reading. There is a vast emptiness in the 10 of Swords that I'm especially getting for this reading, a vast emptiness of, whoa, now that I've released that old way of being that was really clogging things up and constricting me, I have a blank slate. I have a blank canvas. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. And that's actually great and amazing and exciting. And that is the transition that I'm feeling this pile making, going from this sort of overwhelm and this like Page of Swords reversed, I don't know what I'm doing and I'm a beginner and that's a bad thing, to the Page of Swords upright, I don't know what I'm doing and I'm a beginner and that's amazing. I have a blank canvas, I have a blank slate, tabula rasa. I can do whatever I want with it. I don't know what I want to do with it. Instead, and it's this turning on its head, this temperance, readjusting, rebalancing, going from, oh my God, that's terrifying, that means I could mess it up, to this plugged into source, unconditional love way of seeing it, of like, no, that means I can try things and keep trying things over and over again and put together the pieces of like all these different things that work for me. I'm really getting that energy strongly with the sun and moon here in the temperance blending together. And also, even more than that, I'm really being given a vision of like a rainbow, a palette of rainbow light. And you can dabble in whatever colors you want and pull all the strands together and braid them however you want. You can try some yoga, you can try some Tai Chi, you can try literally painting, you can try dance. You can move through life, not only however you want, but you don't just have to pick one way. There's a real innocence and raw potential to this pile where it's like, are you crazy? I'm not going to limit myself to just one way of being or one way of doing things. Of course I show up in different ways in different situations. Some of you may be very androgynous, because this is really actually coming through to me as like, of course I show up as more masculine in some situations and more feminine in other situations. Some of you may be non-binary or gender fluid. It's fine if you aren't. Of course, everyone brings through more masculine forward and feminine forward energies in different situations if they are responding healthily and accurately to situations, which a lot of people don't let themselves do, being very rigidly stuck in one mode. You're not like that, pile 2. That is not natural to you, and if that's ever been enforced on you, you are shaking it off and stepping into a new dawn, a new day, a new life, and feeling good, as the song goes. A really strong non-binary gender fluid energy coming through with this pile. I've actually never gotten that in a reading before. I'm non-binary and gender fluid myself. I use she pronouns. I consider myself a non-binary woman. And I always have ever since I found out what non-binary was over a decade ago. At different points in the journey, more of the emphasis has been on non-binary. And at other points in the journey, like right now, more of the emphasis has been on woman. But it's both at the same time, because non-binary, I can't believe I'm being called to go on this soapbox in a reading. This has never happened before, but I am being called to say this. Some people who really haven't paid attention to what the word non-binary literally means, really just kind of add non-binary to their binary paradigm. They view it, and if this doesn't have to, like, this message is applicable to so many things besides gender, so don't check out if this doesn't apply to your gender, because this does apply to pile 2's way of being and in life. And if this way of being of like pulling on different strands from all the different boxes of like all the different religions and traditions in the world and all the different cultures of the world and traveling and experiencing different places and getting to share and celebrate those different cultures without appropriating them, and integrate different, pagan traditions with Catholicism and with parts of Judaism, and, really resonating with all these different parts of your heritage. You might be of mixed race and ethnicity as well, and you really are like, wow, I love this part of my Jewish heritage, and I love this part of my French heritage. French is coming through really strongly for whatever reason. Maybe some of you actually are learning French because of your ancestry or have traveled there recently or something like that. Because it's coming through really strongly. Some of you may be called to travel to France because of either ancestry or past lifetimes or both. That's coming through really strongly, actually. Some of you are being called to travel to France in the future. It doesn't have to be right now, but like put a pin in that spot on the globe or on the map for the future. There are some really cool sacred waterfalls in France, and I'm actually being given images of those. And I know I've gone on such a long tangent from what I was originally talking about with the non-binary thing. I promise you I'm circling back to that. This is so much this pile's energy is like, a lot of you are definitely also neurodivergent, because this pile is really bringing out the neurospiciness in me, which I would say that you're probably a lot more neurospicy than I am. Not that I'm not, but this type of like, I can talk to you about my current hyperfocus for days and not stop to sleep or eat or drink, and I won't even notice the time that has passed. That is not like my norm, and that is the way that I am speaking while in the energy of this pile, and I love it. Like, I cannot express to you how adorable and endearing, like, the innocence of that enthusiasm and passion is. And I think part of why Spirit is channeling it through me in this way is to show you how much I freaking love that energy in people and that enthusiasm, because you've probably been told that it's too much and that it's weird and that it's to be frowned upon and it doesn't fit in, and you know, you need to somehow make yourself fit into boxes. No, the heck you don't. No, the heck you don't. You're here to create spaces that are overflowing with watercolors and oil paints and acrylics, and that specifically do not fit in boxes and don't make other people fit in boxes either. That's what you are here for, and you are stepping into a whole new world of empowerment and excitement around doing that and being a trailblazer in that in this new chapter. That's why you're so in the flow with the High Priestess. You're letting yourself be in the flow of how you are meant to flow, you, not how other people think flow should look. And with Temperance, you're getting some support with making that healthy for you, because I know a lot of times with neurodivergence it can be like, oh, but if I'm in the flow state, I forget to eat and drink and sleep, and then suddenly I'm sick and dehydrated and I don't even remember why that causes that. So with Temperance, you either are calling in or you're being advised to really call in support from people, from apps, from therapists that help temper your way of being and make it healthy for you. Call in the moon to your sun, call in the sun to your moon, because sometimes you do go to one extreme or the other, and that's part of who and how you are, just as much as being able to embody both extremes at the same time is. And this whole new world of empowerment about this is very much the Ten of Swords, and it's like, you don't know how it's gonna look. You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to create it from what's natural and raw for you, from this raw potential of the Page of Swords. And I just cannot express to you enough the gorgeous surprise and enthusiasm from like other people finding you and you finding your people because of you putting your natural flow and enthusiasm out there, because of you making a space where other people can meet you and also be their shiny, multicolored, multifaceted, multidimensional, neuro-spicy, non-binary selves, you know. So back to my original rant about being non-binary. You may not need to hear this, but some of you, I'm being told to say this both as affirmation for those of you who already are very clear on this and don't need to hear it, and as something that might help bring a little bit of understanding about yourselves for some of you who maybe haven't fully had this explained before, or gotten like just this perspective on it, whether you completely agree with this perspective or just a little grain of it is meant to resonate with you. Either way. A lot of people look at the word and the concept of non-binary through their binary paradigm perspective. So they go, okay, just to use gender as an example, again, this can apply in other ways. Gender is definitely a strong theme for some of you in this. It doesn't have to be though. So they say, okay, there's male and there's female, and instead of actually doing what the word non-binary says and unplugging from the binary paradigm and going, wait, could there be options beyond a binary paradigm? Are there ways to define masculine and feminine that aren't just in opposition to each other? And feminine doesn't just mean not masculine, and masculine doesn't just mean not feminine, and they aren't all about just pushing each other away and opposing each other. but there are actually ways to be in the world that are both and neither, and actually like out, like not just outside of, but like beyond, because they include and are beyond that paradigm of masculine and feminine. You know, that's what non-binary is about. It's about throwing away the binary lens altogether because it's a construct. Now, we do live in a universe that runs on polarity, that runs on duality. So it's not that the energies of masculinity and femininity, and of every polarity that exists, like sun and moon, like light and dark, all of those energies are real and do exist and do interplay and affect us in very real ways. Duality and polarity and binary are not just constructs, but the constructs of our binary paradigms in our minds and in our ways of living have limited how we define ourselves, how we exist in the world, how we move through the world, how we live, who we believe we can be, who we believe other people can be, our willingness to meet other people at the true depth of their being, as well as ourselves at the true depth and multidimensionality of our being. And people who've really dived into exploring their own gender as non-binary, like I have gotten this, and have also potentially, if they've really dived into it, into their psyches, explored that non-binary way of being in other ways. Like, for example, for me, body image was a huge deal, and sometimes still is, but I had an eating disorder for a really long time, so exploring the binary of beautiful and ugly, and like, wait a second, there's also a whole world that exists stripped of that binary paradigm, where the whole concept of beautiful and ugly doesn't even like have relevance or charge to it. It doesn't actually matter, and that changes how I look at beauty. Good and evil is something that philosophers have been applying this to for millennia, with going, do good and evil really exist? And spirituality has often said, no, they effing don't. And you would actually behave in a much more good person way if you actually freed yourself up and liberated yourself from having to appear to be good and having to oppose what other people denounce as wrong, as opposed to standing up for what you truly believe is good and right and what you truly are. So non-binary isn't just this like thing, to this extra box on a form to add to your binary paradigm. It's not just a third option. It's not just, oh, we're expanding 2 to 3. It's a whole way of being that slices through, like the Page of Swords, like this incisive sword and open crown chakra, slices through the veils of projection that we impose over reality, just like an open crown chakra does, and actually it perceives the expansiveness and the multidimensionality of truth and of reality, and is extremely innocent in doing that, by the way, because there's an innocence to that expansion, to that willingness to see reality the way a child does, without all the layers of projection that have been imposed and imprinted upon them, all the paradigms, like binary paradigms, that have been imprinted upon them. And it then allows you to actually experience the dualities of polar energies like masculine and feminine as they exist in reality, and not the way that, without the layers of constructs that society has imposed upon what they should mean and how they should look, obstructing them. You get to actually feel into the masculine and feminine parts of your own being and other people's being, and recognize, what does it feel like for those to be in healthy flow? What does it feel like for those to be obstructed? What does it feel like for those to be burned out? What parts of the constructs of society do I actually like and resonate with, and which parts am I going to throw away? Maybe I like wearing makeup but hate shaving my legs. Maybe I love high heels but hate skirts. Maybe I love long hair and suits. You know? And of course it extends so far beyond fashion and At the same time, those ways of expressing yourself are another area where this pile gets to put their best foot forward, because your strength and your specialty in this lifetime, I cannot talk you up enough for this, is your ability to do exactly what the New Age always intended to do. New Age spirituality was always supposed to be about everyone essentially having their own religion, their own spirituality, by pulling on threads from every tradition that exists and using what works for that individual to open up and strongly stay rooted in their connection with Source, just like the High Priestess, their connection with their highest self, their innermost core, truest self. And that truth and clarity is exactly what this Page of Swords is about here, as well as Temperance, actually. There's a lot of clarity and truth in that as well. And in this space after the storm that the Ten of Swords embodies, that storm has cleared away so much obstruction. Some of you may have gone through a real tower moment recently that is causing you to be in this stage of exiting the Nine of Swords and entering the dawn. How cool it is that we have the Temperance. Oh, I didn't even notice this about how the cards came out. We have Temperance in between the darkness and the light, and the dark half of the Temperance card is next to the darkness, and the light half of it is next to the light. How freaking cool is that? So to finish what I was saying, this pile is so extraordinarily good at embodying what the New Age is all about, where in every area of your life you are pulling on threads from every which way, whether it's cuisine and how you cook, whether it's how you dress, whether it's what gender means to you, whether it's how you embody your spirituality and what intuitive practices, spiritual practices you engage in, whether it's how you approach mental health with trying out a million different modalities of therapy and psychotherapy and somatic therapy and yoga and tai chi, and blending them all into your own cocktail of what keeps you sane and healthy, and grounded, because you freaking need grounding, my friends. Not in the sense of tethering you or confining you. You've been taught that that's what grounding means. It's not what grounding means. Grounding means nourishing you so that you do not get burned out, because you, my friends, are like little hummingbirds that never land, and you need the nectar that the hummingbirds need to keep them going, okay? I would not be shocked if hummingbird is your spirit animal. For some of you, cats are a big totem animal, a big protector animal. For some of you, they may also be a spirit animal. I am like so speaking the way that I would expect this pile to speak in this reading, speaking rapidly and excitedly, and also breaking off onto a tangent and then circling back to finish my original story. I do that all the time anyway, but I'm doing it to the nth degree right now. I'm having a lot of fun. I hope it isn't terrible audio content. And you're being really called to embrace living in the way that is fun for you, instead of being like, oh, I have to do things in the blah, gray, boring, dull way that everyone has always told me is normal. There's that black and white energy on the Innocence of Swords, actually, and that was, like we said, reversed at the beginning. And now you're coming out of this darkness into a dawn of all this beautiful, gorgeous, contrasting, high contrast, high saturation color, like in the High Priestess card. Just gorgeous. You embodying your true self is not, it's neon, it's rainbow, it's glittery. Maybe not literally, that might not be your aesthetic, but your energy. It's incredible. You guys clearly needed some affirmation, because I have really been called to pour the words of affirmation on you, and I love it. I'm here for it. It's true. I wouldn't be saying it if it wasn't true. And with that light and dark and the Temperance, like I was saying before, when I interrupted my spiel about New Age spirituality and how you folks embody that using every color on the palette in every area of your life, and how you are being called to run wild with that and get carried away with it, and that is going to lead you to exactly where you need to be, career-wise, people-wise. It's going to help you find your people. You're going to find what it is that you have, that you offer so naturally that it is of value to the world, and will cause you to find your niche in your career. But with the Temperance, with the light and dark, this is also about I don't think this is coming naturally to you yet. It might be, but I'm getting the feeling that for you folks, this is not coming naturally to you yet, what I'm about to say. This is also about you in this next phase of your life, embarking on a journey of learning to embrace all the extremes of emotion and flow with them instead of resisting them and then getting stuck in them. Because that does tend to happen a lot with this type of neurodivergence, where you embody all the extremes so beautifully. Sometimes you get stuck in them when there's any resistance, whether it's resistance to nourishing yourself, resistance to an emotion, especially the emotions are what is being highlighted for me as kind of like your next journey. Emotional health is going to arise. Emotional balance is going to arise from you not trying to stay balanced all the time and not feeling like you need to be on an even keel all the time, but creating safe containers and resourcing other people to help you, and other resources besides people as well. Again, therapy, apps, technology, alarms, systems in your life. Systems are such a big deal for making life run smoothly as a neurodivergent person. So you're being really highlighted to call on people who can help you install systems in your life, therapists, friends, whoever it is that can help you install systems in your home, in your phone alarms, in your calendar, in the way you go about, making your grocery list and doing your laundry. Install systems in your life that create safe containers for you to be able to, when you are drawn into an extreme emotion, have a safe place to feel it. If not right away, then very soon after it arises. When you're called to an extreme of joy, you have safe outlets that aren't, manic shopping sprees and things like that. You have creative outlets that allow you to just splash paint on a canvas, or go to an ecstatic dance, or yoga dance class, or things like this that allow you to not numb negative emotions with substance, or try to, use substances also to smooth out the intensity of positive emotions either. Because for some of you, substances may have been something that you have relied on to cope with things in the past. I'm not getting that as a super heavy energy in the present, but it's just like something, whether it's substances or habits, it's something you're moving away from. And in moving away from it, you are needing to have a healthier emotional life. And those grounding supports, like the people and systems that allow you to get nourished with regular sleep and food and hydration and outdoor time, instead of getting so caught up in these swings of mood and emotion and hyper-focus that you're just completely neglecting your physical form. This temperance figure is a little bit malnourished looking. I noticed that at the beginning, and that now I understand why my attention was called to that. That neglecting your physical form thing, installing the systems that help you not do that, is huge for your emotional health pile too. Cannot overstate that, cannot stress that enough. You'll be amazed, if you haven't experienced this already, how much good sleep and food and hydration and moving your body outdoors or in like dance classes and things like that work for you. If it's yoga or Tai Chi or whatever it is, you will be amazed how much that helps you with not feel like you're so buffeted by the storms of emotional extremes, and also helps you then have safe containers for experiencing those emotional extremes without resistance, without clinging to them and feeling like, oh, I experienced depression and that means I'm going to wallow and create art from it for 5 days without sleep. Like, no, I'm experiencing really extreme sadness and I'm crying it out, and maybe I'm wallowing for a day or two, and maybe I am creating some art out of it, but I'm not clinging to it, and I'm also not resisting it and pushing it away. And wow, I'm also still sticking to my systems because I actually like them. Even when I'm in my darkest hour, I still like going for my walk in the sunlight. I still like my cup of tea and my soup or my hot cocoa or my whatever it is, my coffee, my green tea. I still like my salads that are like the rest of my life, where I pull a little bit of everything into my salad, right? Or my soup, whatever it is. My grilled cheese that I put a little bit of every weird topping you can imagine on, whatever it is for you. You like the point of your systems is for them to be actually be ones you like, that support you having a fun life, and not like, drudgery. I have to uphold this routine that I hate because there's something weird and wrong with me, and therefore I need to be forced to have like a normal life, like a dog on a chain. Like, no, you're a cat. You're gonna cat. You need systems that work for cats. And also dogs shouldn't be chained either. Oh my god, this reading has just blown through me like a tornado, you guys. I love your energy. It's so cool. I would love for you to comment if this has resonated with you, because this has just been the coolest energy ever to read for. We're done with the Light Series Tarot. What else are we pulling from? Tea Leaf Oracles. Okay. I feel the reading winding down. I just almost did the same thing I did in pile 1, where I tried to say reading and winding down at the same time, and it came out as weeding. And it evoked a memory of The Princess Bride and how they say to love in The Princess Bride. So this is another connection between your pile and pile 1. And also, I really get the feeling that some people in this pile like really like The Princess Bride, and it's like a comfort movie or book, especially a movie. And it might be something you're being called to actually like go rewatch for comfort if you're in this kind of coming out of the Dark Night of the Soul, Nine of Swords energy into the Ten of Swords. It might be just a nice self-soothing thing for you. It sure makes me laugh. I've seen that movie more than any other movie, and I love it. Very comforting. Fair woman, dealings or relationship with a woman with blonde, gray, or white hair. I need more information, Spirit. Being called to place this down here. I'm being told that for some of you this is your therapist. If not a therapist, then some other type of like teacher, mentor, potentially a family member, potentially your mom or an older sister or aunt. Someone who is going to be a resource to you for establishing the systems and routines. I'm being told that you might be scared to reach out to this person and ask for help, and that Spirit is really wanting to come in to soothe and reassure you, because this person loves you and wants to help you, and will actually be so grateful that you're asking for help instead of trying to do everything on your own, because they sometimes, if this is not a therapist but actually someone in your personal life, they sometimes worry about you, and it will like delight them and light up their heart and put them at ease and nourish them to help you in a way that is actually tangibly beneficial, and that they can actually see pay off for you. So this is someone that you can call on for assistance setting up your systems, for those for whom that resonates. Grasshopper, situations in the balance that require careful handling. I'm sorry, but this is you. You are the grasshopper. You bounce and leap far in one leap, in one stride. This is also the Page of Swords energy. You are the young grasshopper. You might not literally be young, but you have a very youthful spirit, pile 2, and definitely some of you are literally young. And you're meant to have a youthful spirit. You're meant to be playful. You're meant to bring out people's inner child. You're meant to remind people what life is all about. You're meant to inspire that youthful vigor and joy and playfulness and innocence in people. You are. It is a feature, not a bug. Okay, that was not intended to be a pun, but yes, the grasshopper is a bug, and now I'm dying laughing at myself. I feel like this is also your sense of humor. I feel like you're gonna get it. This is the most intense channeling I think I've done in one of these readings ever so far, which is awesome. I love it. This is you. You deserve to be handled with care. You deserve to be handled with love and tenderness. You deserve to have these systems set up so that you can handle yourself with care more easily as part of your daily life without it being a chore or an obstacle course. Your life is not meant to be an obstacle course or a hurdle track. Your life simply requires that you treat yourself with love and approach yourself with care, the way you would reparent your inner child, the way you would hope to parent your child, which was a huge theme for pile 1, so that may resonate with you as well. It's not about it being a bad thing to require careful handling. It's about how we should all want to handle ourselves and each other with care, because we love ourselves and each other and want ourselves and each other to feel good and to be able to be supported to show up as our best selves and to be able to feel our best and express our truest, highest selves, our truest core, our truest essence in its purest form, because look how that elevates the world. Look at how that elevates the whole rainbow of diversity in the world in every single way. And that is your strength and your purpose here, pile 2. I can't express that enough. This also came out in pile 1, and this is exactly what I was talking about with you expressing your beautiful, gorgeous rainbow self, your beautiful, flamboyant peacock self, your shiny, golden, glittery self. Beware of great pride. In pile 1, that was about being willing to stand up for themselves when other people project on them out of pride, and that may apply to you. But I am getting, with these extremes that you sometimes deal with, I am getting that you may sometimes need to watch out for putting those projections on yourself or on other people, because those extreme emotions, if you do get really carried away in a trigger, they can cause you to be unfair to yourself or someone else. I'm trying to figure out a way to arrange these in the lighting so that you can actually see the colors on the Temperance card and on the Peacock card. You want to nurture healthy self-esteem, and with that, the need for any flashy pride that, puts other people down will dissolve. And I'm not saying you go out of your way to put other people down necessarily, but that may be a defense mechanism that you've learned from being condescended to by other people. And so you may go into that lashing out mode without meaning to. And sometimes you may kind of take a vicious joy in it, and that's okay. But it's not what you want to be your default programming to react to everything with that, because you can alienate people who could actually be supportive that way, and you can alienate parts of yourself that way. And that type of pride is not necessary when you have a real overflow of self-love pride, a real healthy ego pride in who you are and how you show up in the world, and you being aligned like the high priestess with your truest self and your core values. That's something you might want to keep in mind when you're setting up your systems, or maybe journaling is one of your systems, voice diary or pen and paper or typed journaling, where you get to get out your thoughts every day. And maybe as part of your journaling, you actually want to install a routine of reminding yourself what your core values are and who you are and what your intentions are for showing up. And that might be a fun thing to change up every week. What's my intention today? What's my intention for this week? What's my intention for this month? And that might be something you are working on with counselors or friends or mentors or a therapist, is nurturing healthy self-esteem. And you'll notice that your ability to show off without and stand up for yourself without needing to lash out or snap will get stronger. And again, it's okay to snap sometimes. It's okay to defend yourself. It's okay to stand up for yourself. Sometimes that does involve sharp words, like the swords element. But those extremes that could alienate people, push people away, and maybe not align with your core values are something that you are learning to manage and embody gracefully and with more poise and more self-assurance, more nourishment, more groundedness, rather than ungrounded flashes of hot and cold that could potentially be harmful to yourself or someone you care about. And also potentially to your reputation in some situations where that might matter to you. Because we do sometimes want to be respected as a professional, and that type of behavior will not help that. Interestingly, specific message that came through. I hope that is helpful for you. Fire, strong emotion, passionate love or hate. Yeah, this is confirmation about what we were just talking about. It is fantastic that you are so fiery. It is a feature, not a bug. It is a strength of yours. You are learning to manage it so that you do not burn yourself and others. That's all this is. The safe containers, the handling the fire with care. Fire can cause a forest fire, but we learn proper fire maintenance and management so that we can enjoy campfires and warm ourselves by the hearth and toast marshmallows, and all sorts of things. Transmute rubble and debris into fuel. Fire is immensely utilitarian and beautiful and powerful. But you are learning how to nourish yourself so that you don't burn out, and how to heal and nurture yourself. The healing was a huge part of pile 1, so this may apply to that part of your journey. Learning how to heal, nourish, nurture yourself, and call on the external supports that you need. Lean on them so that you also don't harm yourself or others, as well as not burning out. And again, this may have to do with that, recovering from using substances or self-destructive habits as well. Ladder, climbing towards success. Yes, this is a journey, one step at a time. You are not going to be able to see this whole staircase right now, or really at any point in the journey, but you can envision what you are working towards. You can envision what you want your life to be like, and install the systems like ladders that support that. A strong ladder that is safe to climb up is supported, not just leaning against the side of a building, but someone is bracing it, or it has the built-in braces. And you are learning to support yourself and your life like that so that you can climb higher without it falling out from underneath you. And this is a game, like a system of game changers for you that is going to allow you to embody the highest and most powerful version of yourself. That's your true success, and it will manifest in outward successes as well, because you do have so much creative spark and fire in you, so much that you would love to create, would thrive on creating, and you have so much to offer in that way, so that is just naturally going to lead to that type of success as well. Tree, affairs with your family. I am getting, really with the imagery here, the confirmation of the stuff about being strongly rooted, and how the deeper your roots go, the more supported you are, the higher you're able to reach. Trees' roots, different species of tree are different in this way. Some have deeper roots than others in proportion to their branches. But a general rule of thumb is the deeper their roots go, the taller their branches are able to go. And they need the deep roots often to grow a little bit before the branches, because they need to be able to uptake the nutrients from the ground. They do also need to be able to uptake the energy from the sun by photosynthesizing, so they do also need their leaves and their branches. But the rootedness is very important. It's what allows the tree to bend without breaking or toppling over in the wind. So for some of you, there's a lot of you where this is about really healing relationships with your family. We had that message that the fair woman might be your mother, might be other supportive members of your family, and you're healing trust from times when you might have lashed out at them, or when they might have lashed out at you, when you've triggered each other. And those relationships are going to be a big part of the system that allows you to climb your ladder, allows you to have a really thriving, nourished, grounded, successful life that you love. If it's not your blood family, then it might be found family. And it might be emotional healing that is ancestral healing, breaking generational patterns. Regardless of which version of that it is, or all of the above, it is strengthening your tree and your connections with the trees that are mutually supportive to you, as trees are in the forest. And again, that balanced nourishment there. The light and the dark, they, as above, so below. The roots exist in the darkness, but still bring in just as much nourishment as the branches that draw on the light and bring the light into the system. And you're learning to be able to alchemize and transmute and use as fuel both the light and dark parts of your life in every single way. And that is a superpower. Victory and some endeavor. I don't know what this is. Part of this is just, there's even a similarity in the image to the ladder. So part of this is confirmation of like, actually I'm being told, some of you, a lot of you are worried about something and you're being reassured by spirit that it's going to be okay. Like, it's not that it's going to be okay, that it's turning out in your favor. That there is a victory in store for you. Sometimes there is victory wrapped in sort of a disguise, but I'm really, I'm being shown in my mind's eye, there's another card in this 2-life deck that's the whale, and it says great worry over nothing, and I'm being shown that in my mind's eye, and I'm being told by spirit to just reassure you guys that whatever it is you're worried about is going to turn out just fine. Do we need any other cards, Spirit? All right, that is what they had for you today. Thank you so much for being here, Pile 2. It has been a wild ride and a delightful one, the best carnival ride to read for you. I'm so happy to have you here. Check out my website in the description box or bio if you are interested in or called to a personal and private reading. I seriously wish you the best of luck on your journey, because you are doing incredible things as long as you set yourself free to do them from any limiting beliefs and set yourself up for success to do them with liberating supportive systems. Again, remember, the systems are there to liberate you and support you, not to confine you. Support and grounding are liberation, not confinement. Expansion, not constriction. Love you. Have a great day, an awesome life, and I'll see you next time.